everybody, it's Charlotte here, and I am in beautiful Venice, Italy. This is one of the most incredible cities in the world, one of the most popularly visited tourist sites in the entire world. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a marvel of architecture and nature. Venice was built on 123 marshy islands in the worst possible environmental conditions to build a city of this magnificence. And today, we're going to be doing something amazing. We're going on a traditional gondola ride through the canals of Venice. I've been wanting to do this for almost my entire life. The canals look beautiful and tranquil today, and I can't wait to get out there with you all, so let's go. Venice, being built on just over 100 tiny silt islands, had to come up with a very, very innovative way to make stable structures on such an unstable foundation. In fact, the clay or the alluvial silt that Venice was built on couldn't even support the body weight of a single human standing on top of it. So what the Venetians did to solve this problem was drive thousands of wooden poles very, very, very close together into the clay, such that over time it actually pushed the water out from the clay, tightly packed between the poles, and the whole structure, the whole foundational structure, would become a solid over time. And upon that foundation is where they laid building materials, followed by the beautiful marble facades and antique buildings and palaces that are still standing to this day. So we are right now going underneath one of Venice's more than 400 little bridges that connect all of the little built-up islands in the city. It's crazy to imagine how these bridges were built thousands and thousands of years ago to support the connection of all these islands. And today, they're so beautiful. It's amazing to stop on top of them and take photos in either direction upon the little canals, watch the boats go by, and just wander around aimlessly through the streets of Venice. Some of the bridges are of great historical significance, and others are like little secrets, seemingly undiscovered. If you go during the morning, they can be incredibly peaceful places to have a little coffee or take a sit and just watch the morning boat traffic go by. So like I said at the beginning of this video, Venice was built in the worst possible conditions to build a city on, and it was really in refuge for the people that were fleeing the convergence of the Eastern and Western Roman Empire. And Venice, because it was built in such unfavorable conditions, literally in a lagoon apart from the land, it was able to be defensible and sustain a very wealthy kingdom for a very, very long time. Venice was highly defensible to invaders and to pirates and to anybody trying to kind of lay siege over the city, and it also established itself as one of the wealthiest and most important trading centers and financial centers in the entire world for hundreds and hundreds of years. So despite the fact that I've been coming to Italy with my family and independently since I was less than 10 years old, I've actually never visited Venice until now. And I am regretful for that because this is such a beautiful place, and I definitely look forward to coming back. Like I said before, it's not just one of Italy's most iconic tourist destinations, but one of the most popularly visited destinations in the entire world. So much so that it's beginning to suffer a little bit from the effects of mass tourism. A couple decades ago, 250,000 people lived in Venice proper in the historic center, and now only about 50,000 people live in the historic center of Venice. So we have just emerged out onto the Grand Canal, which is the major arterial riverway passing through the islands of Venice's historic center. The Grand Canal is where you will go if you're taking a boat bus or a water taxi or a gondola. It is not available to regular passenger boats or to kind of like independent boats that are just taking their individual owners. It is for public transport and touristic purposes only because it is the major arterial waterway of Venice. So you can take it pretty much all the way from the train station to Venice's main basilica, all the way at the southernmost point of the Venetian islands. And right now, right past the train station in the Grand Canal, one of Venice's most iconic features is its casino, the oldest casino in the entire world. And yes, you can still visit this casino today. I haven't been inside, but maybe I'll visit later tonight after an aperitivo for a little bit of gambling. So particularly on the Grand Canal, but also on the smaller canals and streets of Venice, lot of these homes that have these beautiful marble facades and statues and stained glass windows used to be the palaces of royal families or wealth-holding families or families that had a particular interest in the trade industries that flourished here. And now many of them function as museums, but also many of them are vacant. It is very expensive to upkeep property in Venice, and a lot of these generational homes now have hundreds of descendants, and there might be a little bit of property dispute over who should bear the burden of upkeeping such magnificent, difficult to maintain properties. So if this wasn't already obvious, Venice is a city with no roads. So the way people get around in Venice is either by walking amidst the little islands connected by bridges, or by boat taxi, personal boat, or like a boat bus that you can catch from all of the major islands and also the train station, which the train actually goes over the water and lands directly in the historic center of Venice. So I took the train into Venice and then walked to my accommodations, but it could have been just as easy to take a boat taxi. The price is like under €1, and it's quite the experience because it's one of the only ways that you get to see the Grand Canal. And of course, going by water is the only way that you get to see some of these beautiful, beautiful marble facades, all of the iconic architecture that Venice is really known for. So on the building behind me, you can see some intact original frescoes. Italy is filled with buildings and interiors of buildings that have their original frescoes, hundreds, sometimes thousands of years old. And fresco is a really, really amazing type of art because they actually had to be painted while the stucco behind them was still wet. And it is easy to imagine just how colorful they were in the years after they were just painted. Frescoes are one of the most magnificent types of artwork, and I'm thankful that there are whole institutions dedicated to preserving this beautiful, beautiful painting style. All right, we are back on land. That was so nice. I would love to do that again someday. These canals are beautiful, and I still find it hard to believe that all of these beautiful buildings, an entire city that was at one time an incredibly powerful kingdom and trading center, was all built on top of marshy little islets just peeking out of the lagoon. Venice is a truly incredible place. If you ever visit Italy, make sure you come to Venice. It's a short train ride from most of Italy's major cities. Thank you again for watching. I'm Charlotte, or Cocoyogi, on all social media platforms. Thanks again, and see you next time.